So, Mark, did you see that fancy sign that Caesars put up between Paris and the old Bally's, the Horseshoe? Looks like they called someone up, got it made in about 5 minutes.
Is there anything more Caesars than that sign? Like penny pinching, cheapness to its finest. Like, at least paint the wall behind it so you don't see the old, peeking out the welcome to Bally's on each side. It's so crappy. I don't understand it.
I have to hope it's temporary, right? I mean, we have to hope that this is just a temporary sign.
No.
What do you think the odds are on that?
I hope it stays because it looks so terrible. Oh, man, it's crazy.
Mark, let's talk about Horseshoe a little bit more and give them some love for what they deserve. We know that Caesars is redoing the entire property, and it seems like this is weird because it's happening in different phases. Old Red is getting built. That's going to open up, I think, late this year, maybe early next year. The Bottle Blonde, the Grand Bazaar shop's getting completely redone. They opened up the new steakhouse last year. Some restaurants are still closed. They're still painting the building, and the Marquee has been torn apart for months now. But we do know what the Marquee is going to look like. And it looks pretty good. Of course, a big giant screen. What else would you expect? It doesn't really fit in, does it? Right? I mean, when you look at those pictures of the Strip, everything looks old-fashioned, and then you have this giant LED sitting right out on the boulevard.
I mean, we've made the joke that the Strip is becoming Times Square, and this is just more to that. And that's not I don't think that's a good thing. Like, we have enough ads, we have enough commerce out there that we don't need to be seeing it as we're walking down the street. And this is just a massive billboard on the sign, which is another money-making scheme, from Caesars to do this. And I understand that you got to, make your money where you can, but I don't like that's where Vegas is going. It just feels more corporate, less the atmosphere that you want in Vegas, like the adult Disneyland type of feel that you get in the whimsical awe. You're losing that because all you're going to see is billboard ads now.
Las Vegas billboards are like a tradition, right? You had all the headliners on there, and of course they didn't used to be screens. And then, I think maybe in the 90s is when we saw our first screen, like maybe Treasure Island, Bellagio, they had the first versions, I remember, of screens, but they were very low res, and then you mixed them in, and they still felt like attraction marquees. I agree, you kind of lose something when it's 100% screen. This will just have the Horseshoe name, and then it's just screen. It's 180 feet tall. And to your point, the same company that sells the ads on those other screens south on the Strip are selling ads here. That's who made the announcement. So, yeah, you're going to get a lot of stuff for the property, but a lot of ads mixed in as well. So, yeah, Times Square.
Yeah, we need to go back to the lights, like the bulbs. Let's go like old school. Bring that back. Circa did it right. Let's just have the whole Strip get redone that way.
Now, they also announced that they're opening their Asian restaurant. It's called MY Asia, and it's going to open on March 13th. It's going to feature like a bar and a nightclub, and then it'll be like, it has a noodle bar and pan-Asian food. So it looks pretty good. And the restaurant is owned by Martin Yan, who's a celebrity chef. Apparently, he's done more cooking shows than anybody in history of cooking shows or something, according to the Vegas Eater article. I don't know. I've never heard of him. How about you?
I thought it was just like another name for Gordon Ramsay because it's Caesar's property, a new restaurant. I was kind of shocked that they brought it in. No, it sounds cool. The bar area, I'm always good for another lounge type bar. Maybe they have some lower key music and stuff and a good night spot to hang out. The food pictures look good, as they always do. So it'll be interesting to see how it plays out. But no, I've never heard of them. I don't watch cooking shows. My kids actually love cooking shows, but mostly nailed it.
All right. Speaking of nailed it, let's talk about this. A TikToker
segue.
He used this AI to generate pictures. We know all AI is all in the news for ChatGPT doing text, and there's also image generators. And he basically said, generate what people from Las Vegas would look like. He did this for a bunch of different cities, but the Las Vegas ones are creepily accurate. And I think they look a little bit like Winnie and Buck, the statue that Harris just removed.
Yeah, they definitely do. And I think it nailed it. I mean, I think it was pretty good on a lot of them. It felt kind of like a Grand Theft Auto ad almost. Some of the people, which was kind of funny, especially when you get to Miami, it looked like Grand Theft Auto, Vice City type of feel. But the Gary, Indiana one kind of, I died a little bit with that.
That guy is scary. Yeah. The Vegas one, like, I can just imagine those two smoking a pack of cigarettes a day, hanging out at the locals casino. Like, I've seen those people all around town my entire life. I mean, I think, if I was going to do it, I I don't know how you could describe Las Vegas better. I also, like you said, it looks like Grand Theft Auto. If you look really closely at the casinos in the background of those pictures, there's just like random letters, but it's very stylized. I don't know. I dug it. Let us know what you guys think.
The only thing that would have been more perfect is if when you get to the end, because it's at the very end of the TikTok, and then Chris Angel's face just popped right up. How amazing would that be?
It would have been even better if the AI just put a picture of Chris Angel when you said somebody from Las Vegas. Because, I mean, why not? Why not? So, yeah, I mean, AI is taking over the world. Now, speaking of art, Resorts World's bringing, we talked about how successful they had at their launch, their first full year. It's not perfect, but their occupancy is high, and they've had a lot of success with their entertainment offerings. And they're bringing the largest immersive art experience display. How they describe these things. Transfix. It's going to have 200,000 square feet of art. So, it's immersive, lights. It kind of reminds me of Area 15, maybe. I don't know. I don't even know how to describe it, really.
Yeah, that's what I first thought when I saw the pictures and you put it in the show notes. I'm like, oh, a new thing for Area 15, because it looks exactly like what would fit in there. So I'm kind of looking forward to it. I think it's a really cool addition. I don't know exactly, do you get where they're going to put this? 200,000 square feet? Is it like an outdoor thing? It kind of looks like it's outdoor, but some's indoor. So I don't know where they're going to, schedule all this stuff and how that all works, getting through it, how long it will take. But it definitely looks something you might want to be a little higher drunk when you go in there.
We need more of that in Las Vegas, right? It says that there's going to be 10 artist-designed bars and speakeasies along the north end of the Las Vegas Strip. So, yeah, it doesn't describe exactly where it'll be. It does feel like it's going to be an outdoor sort of space, but I don't know. There'll also be a 2-acre labyrinth that you can go through, and all kinds of different art. So, yeah, it does seem like perfect for Vegas. Another good move, I think, for Resorts World in bringing unique art, entertainment. They're definitely thinking outside the box when it comes to that stuff.
Yeah, 10 bars and distilleries and pop-ups and all that stuff. Sign me up. That sounds great. And it kind of reminds me of Lost Distillery at Area 15, Lost Spirits Distillery, but like in a much grander scale, how you just kind of roam around and find different areas, different nooks, have a drink. I'm sure they'll have like some type of performance thing going on, performance art. So I'm excited for it. I think this is a great move by Resorts World.
Agreed. And while we're talking about art, let's talk about the Bellagio. They're bringing in a new display called In Bloom. It's running through September 10th, and it's a curated art collection of landscapes and still life, and it's all done in the New Mexico style of art. Sounds kind of cool. Just a reminder that art gallery is there and still has some fresh stuff as well.
Yeah, I've never actually been in there, never seen the entry to it. The only reason I know it exists is because Julia Roberts worked there in Ocean's 11.
Well, Steve Wynn famously, I think, destroyed one of the paintings in there. Was it a Picasso or something like that? He damaged it, and then he had to get it repainted or, fixed. And so I know that was a big thing. And then when it got sold, the whole transfer of the art collection was a big thing. A lot of people thought MGM wouldn't keep the art collection around, wouldn't keep investing in it after, Wynn left. And they've done a good job with it. So, good to see new stuff in there, even though we don't talk about it a lot. And it's over by the pool, Mark. Yeah. It's over by the pool.
Okay. That's exactly where I would expect an art gallery to be.
It's a long walk out to the pool at Bellagio. All right, so
everything at Bellagio is a long walk, period.
All right, so this weird thing happened. I was walking with my friend Dave at Green Valley Ranch the other day, and that's a beautiful resort. We've talked about it before. It's right near the new Dollar Loan Center Arena in Henderson, and it's a great resort, kind of Mediterranean theme. They even have like grapevines and stuff like that out there. But on the slot machines in a couple areas of the casino, they have this white sign that says Viva Hotel Resort. And Viva was the hotel that Station Casinos was going to build on the Wild Wild West land back in 2008, and that fell through. And now we know Wild Wild West closed just last year, so they are going to redevelop it into something. Is this a hint by Station Casinos? I mean, have people seen this around town? I mean, it's a very sort of basic-looking sign, white background, black letters. It says Viva, I think Hotel Casino Resort is what it says. I'm confused. I want somebody out there to tell me why this exists. Are they bringing back Viva and they're just sort of slyly telling us about it?
I mean, you would want to think that like they made something and they're just reusing it, but that's a long time ago to be holding on to it and even had it made because they hadn't, broken any ground or done anything. So it does seem like there's like a little Easter egg there, But, you know, I went back and read that old article from '08, and just how delusional they were about the whole project it cracks me up big time.
Yeah, that's an interesting article. I'll put the link in the description. I think it's from the Las Vegas Sun, and it's talking about, you know, how the Fertittas wanted City Center to open to be able to prove Viva, and how they thought they would be able to get funding as other projects like Cosmo were struggling. So it's really like a moment in time and a good look back at history. But I'm confused about why Viva is in the middle of Green Valley Ranch. Now, the Green Valley Ranch buffet, we talked about the fact that it got blocked off. It's still blocked off, and the walls have come way out. So I don't know, they're doing something there, but they haven't announced anything yet. But it's a great resort if nobody's been out there. And then really quickly on an update on Fiesta Henderson, I went over there just to see what it looks like now. The buildings are completely gone. The garage is still there. Just a lot of dirt where a casino, hotel tower, movie theater, all of that used to be. So that's sad to see, although it looks like the city of Henderson's taken over. They put their signs everywhere. So maybe a park will be coming soon. I don't think they've closed that deal yet, but yeah, everything's done. Demolition complete.
Well, it's good that they'll have a big parking lot for the park. Hope it's popular.
Yeah, it'll be a park with a giant parking garage. So there you go. It's still there.
They'll start charging for it, $10 for the bottom floor.
All right. So let's talk about this, Mark. 1980s Las Vegas vlog. So I'm on YouTube the other day, and this thing pops up, and it said 1987 Las Vegas. It's like 30 minutes long. Every once in a while, I'll watch a historic Vegas. Usually it's people driving the strip. Usually the quality isn't all that good. But for 1987, this was pretty good quality. And this guy was coming here for like a doctor's convention, and he was giving a talk, I think. So at various points, you see him talking with his friends. But it goes everywhere from like starting at the airport, so you're getting 1980s airport vibes, to he was staying at Bally's. Even mentions that it's the newly renamed Bally's after it was the MGM Grand. So that kind of tells you the era that we're in. Lots of great shots of that area, Flamingo and Las Vegas Boulevard, which is completely different on every corner. And nighttime, daytime, so much good stuff in this thing. This guy's the first Vegas vlogger.
Yeah, I mean, he was way ahead of his time by, you know, like 30 years. It's kind of crazy to see, you know, and then it throws you back to just like hotels in the 80s and wallpaper, man. I don't know why anybody ever thought wallpaper was a good idea. It looks
wallpaper, man, at the Bally's room. Oh my God.
Oh, too bad he didn't give us any carpet shots for you. But yeah, the wallpaper was bad. And it just shows you how, you know, how different Vegas was. There was no screens selling billboards, but two, there really wasn't a lot going on, you know, like Flamingo was a marquee thing. And now Flamingo's just a has-been that you look down on. And it was kind of like the centerpiece of this video. You don't see a lot on, there's just vacant land around, and you can see far out into the distance. And, you know, I was like, what's that thing that looks like a football stadium at the end? And that's the convention center. And that looks completely different and kind of crazy.
Yeah, the convention center was what I was really excited about at the end of this video. Great views of that old, I always called it like a spaceship. It looks like a flying saucer to me. But the old original convention center building, which was very famous. I think it was the largest building of that type in the world at the time. The Beatles performed there in 1964. The UNLV basketball team played there for 20 years. And so many big names came through there because that was the first sort of big venue in Las Vegas for touring acts. So it was cool to see that up close. It got torn down in 1990. So this was the very end of its life. And then you get to see like Bally's, two versions ago, right? Just when it was a parking lot out on the strip. Wasn't even that moving walkway that we talked about on the last show. So it shows you how long that's come. The Dunes, of course, is still there. The old moving walkway for Caesars, one of the two that they had, is still there. And then, of course, the Barbary Coast in its original form with that maroon color. So everything looks so different. And Flamingo Hilton, that's the Vegas that I grew up in, the Flamingo Hilton, all of that stuff. It's great to see it because he did such a good job of doing it. You don't see every part of Vegas in this video, but what you see, you get great looks at.
Yeah, I was really excited to see Oasis because we've had a lot of people comment about that, you know, like a fond memory of theirs that they ripped down, especially when we've been talking about Caesars and the walkway and Rotunda and all that stuff. And I never got to see that. So I didn't, you know, they're like, oh, I loved it as a kid or loved it. You know, that was kind of like my big Vegas memory. And I never got to go in it, see it, anything. So it was really cool to see that.
Somebody could fact check me, but I believe I've heard this as a fact that the entirety of the dunes and the Oasis Casino and all of that would fit on the Bellagio fountains footprint. So that's where they were. So, yeah, I mean, that shows you why they had to tear down those properties, because they were just at a different scale. And when we go into the area of the mega resort, there was just no way to really add on to them, because you end up with something like Caesars that's really disjointed, or Riviera back in the day, if anybody stayed there before it closed, where, you know, you get mazed and lost. And so that's why they decided to tear these things down. But it was a different time. There was tons of gas stations, little motels on the strip. And yeah, you get some
traffic was manageable.
Yeah. It was cool. And to your point, no screens, just those big marquees, big names up in writing. Yeah, it's a great look at Las Vegas in the 1980s, or 1987 specifically. And I highly recommend it. Every once in a while, I've thought about sharing one of these videos, but this is the best one that I've seen. And I guess if people out there like it, then in the future, if I come up with good quality ones that I find, I'll make sure to share them as well. But some things you just cannot see anymore in that video. And for that reason, I recommend it. So let us know what you guys think about all this. Do you know what's going on with the Viva Casino? What do you think about Bally's, the temporary sign, the new marquee, all of that stuff? Let me know in the comments. We'll discuss everything there. We release 2 shows a week, Tuesdays and Fridays. Mark, the last couple of weeks, the Friday shows come out on Saturdays, thanks to technical issues that were beyond our control. Believe me, I have a few extra gray hairs because of them. Hoping to keep the Tuesdays and Fridays, and hopefully we won't have these issues going forward. So we'll be back in a few days with another show. You can find everything that we do Vegas related, mtmvegas.com. Thanks for... Oh my God, I just totally messed that up. Let me start again.
Leave that in. You did it to me.
Thanks so much for watching. Talk to you next time.
See you on Friday or Saturday. We don't know.